Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to System Shock Radio. I, as always, am your host, Nigel, and this, of course, is another pre-recorded episode. This is episode 47 of System Shock Radio. Unfortunately, wasn't able to go live, but, of course, the failsafe, the pre-recorded video here. My equipment's been acting up. The equipment I use for System Shock Radio, of course, with Tales of the Labyrinth, I use my phone to go live, just like this with the sub and everything. And if I can't get the issue resolved, then I will do that for System Shock Radio as well. But in the meantime, let's get right into it. Of course, just a quick reminder. While right now we are, of course, on episode 47, just a reminder that episode 50, he will be talking about the O.J. Simpson trial. So stay tuned and stick around for that. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Oh, and of course, this Saturday, not the Saturday, the Sunday, I should say, this upcoming Sunday at 11 p.m., using my phone here, we'll be going live for Dr. Dixie's Tales from the Labyrinth, which, of course, is my poetry readings and everything. So, stay tuned and check that out. But, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, the first topic we're going to talk about is actually the question that I asked you guys last time, actually in preparation for this episode, to sort of build up some hype for this episode, and that is, what is the best fighting game? So, of course, when I talk about fighting games, I'm mostly talking about, 1v1 on first person to deplete their opponent's health wins, or even even in some cases, it can be 3v3 or 2v2, but it's mainly one-on-one, and there's a few candidates that could probably fit this. Of course, I'm going to talk about most of the big ones. I'm sure a lot of you guys have your favorites, but the big ones I want to talk about, of course, perhaps the king of the fighting games, in a lot of people's opinion, Street Fighter, introduced the combo system, and which apparently he was an accident. So the cool thing about the Street Fighter 30th anniversary collection of Street Fighter games that I have for Nintendo Switch, it came out back in 2017 for PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, all that. I have mine on Nintendo Switch, but the cool thing about that is for each of the games that it talks about, how it tells you a little bit of history about that game, a little bit of trivia about it, and some interesting, useful facts about the game. And apparently, I believe it was Street Fighter. It may have been Super Street Fighter 2, if I'm not mistaken, and where this trivia came up. Apparently, the combo system, or it might have been regular Street Fighter 2. I'll have to check back, but apparently the combo system was glitched. So, it actually came about as when a movement was performed, it was a glitch to where, in mid-animation of the person doing the movement, it could be canceled out and followed right up with another movement. Instead of letting the whole movement play out, it could go right into the next movement. Apparently, wasn't supposed to happen, but they unintentionally did something awesome there, and was apparently the catalyst for what will become combo systems in video game, chaining together a whole bunch of attacks to do a heck of a lot of damage to your opponent and look cool while doing it. Could you imagine a world without that type of innovation in fighting games? That's not a world I would want to live in. And then, of course, there's Tekken, with the several buttons being able to control the 4 different limbs used to fight, which is pretty cool. And Mortal Kombat, of course, the gore factor for Mortal Kombat was actually, fun fact, what introduced the ESRB system. So whenever you buy a video game in store or online, whichever or you prefer, you might notice in the bottom left corner or is a little box that has a different rating. It could be E for everyone, T for teen, M for mature, adults only, but I think that one's been phased out. Early childhood I even saw, but I think that one also as well. But it's mostly either E, E10, T, or M for mature. And that was brought about because of Mortal Kombat, because of the gore factor of Mortal Kombat and how bloody and gory it was. A lot of parents freaked out when this happened. They were like, "Oh my god, this is so violent! Like, why didn't you warn my kids about this? I just bought them this game. Hey man, it's super violent." Of course, the kids, it's at the time, the kids didn't care. They were like, "Oh my god, this is awesome!" A whole bunch of blood and gore and all that stuff. And Mortal Kombat's managed to maintain the level of blood and gore even up until present day, with Mortal Kombat 11 releasing a couple years ago. But innovators in that field, and of course we got other types of fighting games. A fighting game I've never played, Soul Calibur. Heard that's a lot of fun. The Marvel vs. Capcom games, pretty fun for the most part. Of course, that's what I was talking about with that 3v3. Although with Infinite, it got switched to 2v2, and of course, Injustice is really good stuff. The Street Fighter X Tekken crossover, that was pretty decent, and the Mortal Kombat vs. DC, which wasn't as good, and just all kinds of fighting games. Even Marvel, like on their own, had some as well. We all love fighting games, of course. Adventure games where you go from point A to point B, leveling up, taking out baddies along the way is fun and everything. But sometimes you just want some good old-fashioned one-on-one. And then, of course, there's games like Super Smash Brothers, where it's more party style, you versus either yourself if you play alone, oftentimes like me, or 2, 3, or 4 people trying to battle each other, knock each other off the stage. It's a lot of fun, and yeah. So let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite fighting game? What's the best fighting game in your opinion? But next we're gonna move on to childhood commercials. The commercials that would come on when we were a kid, and man, commercials used to be a lot of fun back then. And now the goal of any good commercial is to either inform or make you want to buy that product, make you want that product. If you see something cool on TV, you're gonna want it in real life. Like, of course, they had the old school Capri Sun commercials, the Sunny D commercials, the like the Nerf gun commercials that would come out, all these like big budget, like cool commercials. And as a kid, you were like, whoa, I want that. And go in the other room like, Mom, Dad, I saw this commercial for this thing. I want it. Can I get it for Christmas? And that's the whole point of the commercial. Well, those types of commercials, I say, like I said, some commercials are informative, of course, but a lot of the commercials, especially that we cared about as kids, were mostly just cool people showing off cool stuff, and it made us want the cool stuff. But then, what about the commercials that weren't necessarily for us, but we remember anyway? A few different ones come to mind. There's the J.G. Wentworth commercial where they're singing like, or like the "I need cash now," or the "It's my money and I need it now." Oh, they had those. They had the singing ones, catchy stuff. There was the Education Connection commercial. With the lady working part-time, trying to put herself through college. All this stuff, we didn't have a clue about college. We were like 4 or 5 years old. He usually saw these like when we were home from school and everything. And to us, we didn't know exactly what it was about, and we didn't care. It was catchy. It was fun. It was awesome. And I remember I used to watch them all the time. I'm in between my shows, like waiting for like SpongeBob or Power Rangers or whatever to come back on, and just having a lot of fun with them, seeing the latest games that were coming out. like the Pokemon games or like the Mario games that were on the way at the time. And yeah, so childhood commercials. Where would we be without you? But next up, speaking of Super Smash Bros. I was talking about, oh, ladies and gentlemen, it finally happened. And as of not today, but yesterday, Sora is officially in Super Smash Bros. And somewhat coincidentally, but also not coincidentally at the same time, I finished not finished like 100%, but I beat the story for Kingdom Hearts 2 on Sunday afternoon, and wrapping that up a day before Sora finally made his way into Super Smash Brothers. Now, here's the thing about Sora being in this game. It's something that everybody, I feel like, knew would happen. And like we were wondering, we knew we were getting at least one more Super Smash Bros. Character, but the mystery of who could it be? And instantly, a lot of people automatically thought Sora, because we already gotten like Final Fantasy characters, of course, Cloud and Sephiroth are in Super Smash Bros. Already, and so we were like, when is Sora going to join the fray and be a part of this game? And we were just waiting. I know I was, but we also had some other predictions. I remember me and my one coworker would always talk about, who's gonna be the final character in Smash. Ash, it could have been like Crash Bandicoot. It could have been Spyro. Oh, that would be awesome if it was Spyro, but licensing stuff like that. But yeah, it could literally be anybody. And the fact that it was Sora, that did end up being Sora, like I said, was kind of predictable. But predictable isn't always a bad thing, I should say. Sometimes it's not a good thing, but it isn't always a bad thing. And I feel like predictable oftentimes has this negative connotation. Like, hey, predictable, you saw it coming. But sometimes you see stuff coming because it feels right and because it's what you want to see. In the horror movie, you want the bad guy to get a few kills in. And sometimes you want them to kill the main character. But sometimes you want the bad guy, not even just in horror movies, but in any movie perhaps. Oftentimes you want to see the bad guy get his comeuppance, and yeah, it's predictable that the bad guy is gonna get theirs in the end, but it's because it's what you want. You pretty much hate this person in the movie, and sometimes at least you hating the actors in real life because they play the role that well, but. You want to see them get theirs. You want to see them taken down, and you want to see them fall. And when you get it, it feels so satisfying. Like, yes, oh yeah. It's going back to when I was playing Kingdom Hearts 2. I definitely wanted to defeat Xemnas, and I knew, of course, that we were gonna be able to. He's final boss and everything, but beating him, especially after playing Birth by Sleep, knowing that he is Xehanort's nobody, but all that stuff of nobodies and stuff like that, that's a topic for another time. And then seeing what he did throughout Kingdom Hearts 2, and what he did as part of Organization 13, and most, if not all, of Organization 13, defeating him was so satisfying. And it's what I wanted, and I got what I wanted. And I feel like that's sort of the vibe we're getting with Sora finally making his way to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Is we finally got what we wanted. I played with him earlier in Smash, and it's actually pretty cool. I like that his movements are like the Keyblade slashes that he does in the game. He has the 3 types of spells, Firaga, Blizzaga, and Thundaga, which is pretty cool to see. He's got the Rising Slash. It's too bad. And one of the things I kind of wanted was the ability to like cure himself a little bit. Like his down B, it could be him using Kiraga to cure himself at least like maybe 5%. Every time he uses it, and then there's a wind down. But hey, you know what? I'm not gonna complain too much. I'm just happy he's there. We got Hollow Bastion in the stage, and I believe we got the music to Timeless River in there as well, which is pretty cool. But seeing Sora in the game, seeing how he plays in the game, it's awesome to see, and to finally see him taking on the other characters in Smash, like Mario and everything. And it's going to be pretty cool, and I imagine he's going to be someone I play with a lot. I might even main him in Smash. Who do I main in Smash? Let's stop it for another time. But next up, we're going to look at another character that's technically in Smash, Sonic the Hedgehog. But we're going to talk about the Sonic Storybook series. All 2 of them. That's right. Hey, the Sonic Storybook series was interesting, to say the least. Now, for those of you who are like, what's the Sonic Storybook series? What are you talking about now, Joe? Basically, Sonic the Hedgehog had 2 games on the Wii that were specifically a part of the Sonic Storybook series. The first was Sonic and the Secret Rings, and the second one was Sonic and the Black Knight. So, the first game, Sonic and the Secret Rings, was Sonic traveling through the plot anyway, was Sonic traveling through the world of the Arabian Nights. So that, of course, that's tales like Aladdin or Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, stories like that, or Sinbad as well. So the plot centered around that. And the second one, Sonic and the Black Knight, was, of course, the tale of Sir Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Now, these were interesting in concept, having Sonic go through these storybook type games, but the problem was that there was a few things working against it. Let me just adjust my camera here. There was something working against it that ultimately led to its undoing, and the reason why we don't have 2 games in the series. The first was gameplay. The gameplay wasn't the greatest. The thing is that this was the Wii, and the gimmick with the Wii was motion, and the unfortunate thing about the Wii game is that, the Wii in general, for a lot of games, is that they tried to shoehorn motion controls into everything. Sometimes that worked, sometimes that didn't. And in Sonic's case, it didn't, unfortunately. And the gameplay was wonky, it was weird, and it turned a lot of people off from Sonic. Why is my camera falling like that? My apologies, folks. It turned a lot of people off from that, and led to a lot of people rejecting these games, having to hold the Wii remote sideways and like tilt it forward, tilt it back, and Sonic running endlessly, hardly any time to like rest or breathe. Now, Sonic and the Black Knight tried to fix this by adding in the ability to use the nunchuck for Sonic the Hedgehog's movement, but even that really couldn't save it, and so that's where we are. Which is unfortunate. It seemed interesting in concept, plus the story for both the games was a little on the weird side, but good idea, bad execution, and I think that was the fate of a lot of Sonic stuff. But of course, another topic for another time, especially because we are almost out of time, I believe. But next up, I want to talk about the Rock and Roll 2021 Hall of Fame inductees for this year. So, this year, we have Tina Turner, Carole King, The Go-Go's, Jay-Z, Foo Fighters, my apologies, Todd Rundgren, Kraftwerk, Charlie Patton, Gil Scott-Heron, LL Cool J, Billy Preston, Randy Rhoads, and Clarence Avant going in the Hall of Fame this year. It's been called the most diverse list of inductees in the history of the organization, at least according to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame website. And that's a pretty good list, all things considered. Now, of course, a lot of people's favorite bands, once again, aren't making the Hall of Fame this year, and I feel like that's one of the major criticisms of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, is that, and why isn't this person in? Why isn't this person in? And the Hall of Fame is pretty big. already, and there's a lot of people that should go in, and a lot of people that will go in at some point. I mean, but I feel like you gotta be kind of patient. But think about all the people that were upset that, like, I believe Iron Maiden and Rage Against the Machine once again petitioned to go in and didn't go in this year. There are a lot of people who are upset by some of those, but trust me, they'll be in. Just be patient. And finally, what I want to end off on is what motivates you, what drives you to do what you do, what keeps you going, what gets you out of bed and through the door every single day to do what you do. And I think that's something that's important. Are you motivated by who's in your life? Are you motivated by yourself? Are you motivated by what you can get out of life? What motivates you to do what you do? I feel like as people, everything, we all have something that motivates us pretty much, and our motivations may be different, but it's unique to us, and it's something that we're passionate about, that we're strong about. And it's what keeps us going. And I think that's what's truly great about motivation, is whatever it is, it's the driving force that keeps you going. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Like I said, once again, I apologize for not being able to go live, and I will see you guys on Sunday at 11 p.m. for Tales from the Labyrinth. See ya.